Hello from slidenerd and hello from Weaves. If you had the number like 4 and 6, let's go ahead and see what happens. In this case, what you do is something like this. Take the larger number 6, find its multiple 12. Now divide the smaller number, which is 4, by this multiple 12 and check if it is divisible. So in this case, if you guys see, yes, it is perfectly divisible, right? That means 12 is the LCM, right? Let's go and take two more numbers and figure out what I'm trying to say over here. If you take 8, take the larger number 8, find its multiple 16. Is 3 divisible by 16? No, it is not. Take the next multiple 24. Is that 3 divisible by 24? Yes, it is. So that is the LCM. Again, let's go and take a third example and figure out 8. Take the larger number 7 and 8. Take the larger number 8, right? 16. 7 is divisible by 16? No. By 24? No. 32? Nope. 40? Nope. 48? Nope. 56? Yes. 7 8s are 56. So this becomes the LCM. This is how we find the LCM, alright. So the conditions are pretty simple. What I'm gonna do is, you have your numbers A and B, alright. A is less than B in our case. For A greater than B, it's the same kind of things, but only the operations will be reversed, that's all. So now let me go ahead and show you. Factor is 2. So first, here I multiply 8 by 2, 8 by 3, 8 by 4, 8 by 5, right? In short, I multiply the larger number by something called factor. So initially, since I multiply by 2 in the first place, I'm going to take the factor as 2, alright. Now I'm going to say multiple equals to B into factor. If you notice, B is the larger number over here, and I'm going to multiply that by 2, simple, right? And I'm going to increase this factor plus plus every time. I'm going to, first I want 8 into 2, then I want 8 into 3, 8 into 4. So this factor has to be increased by 1 each time, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something simple. Once I find the multiple 16, I simply go ahead, divide that by our A, which is going to be our 4 or 7 or whatever it is, right? I'm going to divide that and check if the remainder is 0. If it is the remainder is 0, then the LCM is the multiple, right? It's pretty simple, straightforward, right? You have the numbers 4 and 8. Now the question you ask at this point is this: how many times should we run the loop? And how do we do it? How do we know? Actually, now this is a problem that falls under the category of indefinite loops. You don't know how many times you can run the loop. As you guys can see here, we just ran it once. Here we ran it twice, and in this case we ran it all the way 7 times, right? So we don't know how many times to run the loop. So how do you control these kind of loops? Very simple. What we do is we initially we use hypothesis. In these cases we say boolean, got the LCM is false. Initially we assume that we don't have the LCM, right? So I'm gonna say while I don't have the LCM, I'm gonna keep doing these things, right? These 3 things, I'm gonna keep checking for these 3 things, right? I'm gonna keep doing them. And once I have the LCM over here, LCM equals to multiple, I'm gonna say got the LCM is true. And what this will do is, this next time this will go over here, got the LCM is true, the while condition will become false, the while loop won't run, alright. So now if you guys got a rough idea of what I'm trying to do when we do a program on NetBeans for this, you guys will probably understand everything. So let me go ahead in NetBeans and get this plane flying. So here in NetBeans, what I have done in the last vid has remained unchanged. I have not touched anything over here. We had A equals 0, B equals 0, LCM was 0, A equals B, the LCM was A. And then we had 2 cases where A less than B and A greater than B, right? And in this we had the case where 8 is a multiple of 4 and 7. Now here where we are going to talk about things, right? So first what we do is we want to calculate something like this. The larger number is 7. We want to calculate 7 into 2. Then we want 7 into 3. Then we want 7 into 4, stuff like that, right? So I'm going to say int factor equals to 2 initially. This is the value of factor which I'm taking over here. So then I'm going to say B, which is your larger number, right? Into factor. I'm going to store this inside a temporary variable called multiple, alright. So at this point what I have is, I simply have the multiplication tables for what you call B into factor, right? Now I need to increase the factor each time by saying factor plus plus. And now what I'm going to do is, before this I'm going to take this multiple, which is going to be 14 in our case, right? I'm going to take 14 by 4 over here, which is our A, right? 14 divided by 4. That I'm going to say something like this: if multiple divided by our smaller number A, if the remainder is 0, that means our LCM is the multiple, right? Yep, that's our LCM, right? And now we need to run this again and again, right? For that we need a while loop, because a for loop won't be suitable because we have an indefinite condition over here. So I'm going to say while over here, right? What is going to be the condition? I'm going to say outside the loop, I'm going to say initially boolean found LCM equals false, right? So here I'm going to say while found LCM equals false, keep doing this thing, right? So now this is gonna run as long as found LCM is false. But remember, if you keep it like this is gonna run infinite number of times. The program is gonna hang. In other words, you can try it out if you want. At this stage, just go and run this. It will hang. That's you have my word on that one. So now what happens is, when we find the LCM over here, we are gonna say found LCM is true. And at this point, let's go ahead and test only for one of them, right? We'll say Control S, Shift F6. If you have the numbers 4 and 6, give the LCM 12. So now exactly how this works is, we have the number 6, which is our number B over here, right? Found LCM is false, the condition is true. B is 6 into factor, which is 2 over here, right? And that's going to be 12. The multiple becomes 12. Multiple divided by A, which is 4 in our case, right? The remainder is going to be 0, right? That's true. So in that case, LCM is going to be 12, right? Found LCM is going to become true. So next time when it goes, while loop goes over here and it says found LCM equals false, no, it is true now. So it won't run. Simple. Right? That's just running one time. So if you want to run this by 2 times, I'll go in the next case and show you what happens when you have 8 and 3 as the numbers. So now here, if you remember, we also had the other condition. Here our A was less than B. Here in the else part, our A is greater than B. Again, if you have 8 or 4, 8 or 5, 2 numbers you can take. Now in this case, 8 and 4, 8 is a perfect multiple of 4. So we used this if condition for that. We said if A divided by B is 0, LCM is A. Now if you have numbers like 8 and 5, then let's go ahead and find out what to do. So here you have the numbers 8 and 5. I'm going to take the larger number A. I'm going to take A over here. I'm going to play with this, find its multiples, take the number B, divide by that, right? So here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say int factor is 2, right? I'm going to say int multiple larger number A into factor, right? And this is going to increase each time because I want 8 into 2, 8 into 3, 8 into 4, something like that. Let me put the numbers over here. 8 and 5 are our 2 numbers, all right? So I want to find 8 into 2, 16. Then I want to check 16 divisible by 5 or not, right? So I'm going to say factor plus plus over here. Now what I do is, I check for divisibility test. I'll take the multiple, right? Divide that by our smaller number, which is going to be B in our case. I want to check if the remainder is 0, right? If that is the case, the LCM is going to be multiple. Alright, so in that case, the LCM is going to be multiple, right? So now again, you have the question, how many times this thing is going to run? We are going to use the same technique. We are going to say initially, found LCM is false. I have not found the LCM, and I'm going to run this thing as long as I don't find the LCM. I'm going to say found LCM equals false. While found LCM equals false is going to run this entire thing. Keep running it. So first, at this case, and when I find the LCM over here, where LCM equals multiple, I'm going to say found LCM equals to true, and we are done. So now let me illustrate this and see how this works. You have the numbers 8 and 3. The LCM is 24. Alright, so let's go and figure out how this works. So here, in this case, if you see, A is bigger than B over here in this else part. This complete else if was A less than B. This complete else is for A greater than B, right? So here, 8 and 3, A is bigger than B over here, so we are going to come over here. Now, if you take the number, let me put the numbers specifically over here so that you guys can understand what's going on. 8 and 3, right? So here, now, is 8 a multiple of 3? No, it is not. So this if condition is not going to work, all right? So we are going to be in this else part directly over here. So here, we are going to be directly over here. So here, now factor is 2, right? LCM is false initially. Now first, while LCM is false, this is going to keep running. It'll go here, here, right? And then it'll come back over here as long as the condition is false, right? So here, if you see, A, which is your bigger number, 8 into factor, which is 2 initially, that's going to give you 16 first, right? Multiple is going to be 16. Now at this step, you'll take 16 and you'll divide that by your smaller number, which is 3, right? And you'll find the remainder that's not going to be 0. That is not going to be 0. So this won't work. This entire part won't work, right? So factor is going to increase by 1. Now factor is going to become 3 now, right? And at this point, you'll come back. And then again, you have A into factor, which is 8 into 3 this time. That's going to be 24. Instead of 16, you'll have 24 over here. And now you're going to divide 24 by 3. And that is going to be 0, right? At this point, it's going to be equal. So LCM is going to become 24. And found LCM is going to be true. And this while loop won't run after this, because here we are running this only while it is false, right? So that's going to give our LCM. It's a pretty simple program, perhaps a complex program. There are many other ways to do this. There's a prime number factorization theorem. There's a Euclid theorem on this. You guys can wiki all these things up. So if you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, leave your thoughts, let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice day.